Hello, my friends. Welcome to Porter's Place. Welcome to Jacksonville, FLA, a.k.a. Duval, a.k.a. the 904, where today our Jacksonville Jaguars introduced their sixth full-time general manager, James Gladstone. This man is coming from Los Angeles, where he spent 9 years with the Los Angeles Rams. The press conference taking place at around 11 this morning inside the Miller Electric Center. Some of the top names there: Executive Vice President of Football Operations, Tony Baselli, Shaaz, the owner. You had Liam Cohen, the head coach there. You had Tony Khan there. You had the mayor of Jacksonville, Donna Deegan, in the house. You had reporters, including our very own Shaaz, Perani, and Ashley Gonzalez there, listening to this man share his vision and plan for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, he is the youngest general manager in the NFL at 34 years young. He is joining a young head coach in Liam Cohen, who's 39 years young, and he's also joining a 52-year-old Tony Baselli, who, Tony, that's not old, my friend. First-time Executive Vice President of Football Operations. All of these guys in significant roles, and all of them doing this for the first time. So we know we're getting some fresh blood over across the street at Everbank Stadium. Let's bring in my main man, my tag team partner, Shaaz Perani. First of all, let me compliment you on battling. He's been under the weather the last couple of days, but Shaaz, he's a gamer. He's a PT peer. He wants to be in there when the game is on the line. So if you hear him cough a time or two, it's all good. He's got his Lysol. He's got his hand sanitizer. We're all good. Shaaz, usually when we start these, we get into the X's and the O's and all that kind of, because I don't want to do that. Yeah. I first want to start because I thought, I love when I see people who are in primetime positions show their human side. And I thought it was so touching today when Gladstone was talking about his wife, his kids, his siblings, just his family, how much he appreciated them for supporting him. They've always been there for him. You got a chance to talk to him one-on-one today, where he not only motivated the kids, but he really allowed you in on his personal journey. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Chris, it's incredible, right? First of all, to see those emotions, it feels real, right? To have these people in big positions as fans, you see them feel real just like you, and that was massive. And then when talking to him, he started off as a high school teacher and football coach. Mm-hmm. So the fact that this man, 9 to 10 years later, is now the GM of a franchise is incredible. So the fact from there to where he is now shows you that anything is possible. And he did say, go after what you believe and what you want. Everything will become fruition as long as you work hard and go after what you want. And he said, press the pause button. Take in the moment. Don't try to fast forward and get to the end game as soon as possible, right? Press that pause button, enjoy where you're at, and take everything. And that was massive to hear from a guy like him who, at 34, is a GM. 34 as a GM. It's incredible that someone in his mid-30s, and I asked him, I was like, do you believe that you would have been in this position in your mid-30s, leading a franchise? And he said he's always been in his roots, right? It's so important to stay grounded. And to hear that from him, to where he is, and to see the emotions, it was incredible, Chris. And that's what makes people like him real. And for us fans and media, it's what you like to see.
Yeah, and it makes him likable. The thing that stood out, there were many. One of the other things that stood out was him talking about his mentor, Les Snead, out in Los Angeles, who, as you were saying, he was a football coach, high school football coach before he came to the NFL to work with Snead and the Rams. Spent 9 years out there. And a sign of a humble man, a grateful man, is whenever that individual is willing to be honest and open and give credit to those who have played a pivotal role in them reaching the goals that they've set. And so I thought it was interesting today, Shaaz, when he was talking about, he and Snead, he wouldn't have taken this job had Snead not given him the green light. And it's not often when you hear, whether it's a head coach, a general manager, a team president, whatever, really talk about needing the green light from someone they look up to take the job. Let's take a listen.
I think, first and foremost, Les is unapologetically himself. He offers that same luxury to anybody he comes in contact with. And that is something that, I think is one of the best things on planet Earth, to simply be able to be yourself. And that's what drew me to him. Even though I was pursuing a career as a high school teacher and football coach, one that I wanted to really embark on from a young age, and pivoted to a different path simply for the sake that I could find somebody that I wanted to learn from and support. And so it's been a fantastic 9 years being able to be alongside him for that journey and really building the LA Rams into what they are today. As we transition then into this conversation around, hey, is it now time for us to consider what comes next? It was never going to be something that I brought up. It was only until he rose his hand and said it's time. And so at that point, when this became available, when he knew that it would be a match with Liam, with Tony, and everybody else that you see up here, that's when we began to accelerate sort of the progress of transitioning into the next phase and becoming a general manager.
And big ups to Snead as well for being a man who has had much success out with the Los Angeles Rams, to take this young man under his wing, see him rise within that organization and be selfless enough to be able to lead Gladstone to what we're hoping will be a successful run here in the River City.
Yep, and it's incredible to see how certain people come into your lives and shift the way things go for you, right? So it sounded like he was so in tune with being that high school teacher and football coach, and to have Les Snead, who is, I mean, a great GM. If you look at the picks he's made the last several years since he's been there, to have him step in and show the ropes to a guy like James Gladstone shows you how much I feel like they were super close, right? And to have that is so impactful, and I can speak to that. My cousin right now works for the Seahawks, same thing, wanting to be a GM, and John Schneider there is allowing him to do things, trusting him, and that really shows you the trust, the ability, and that's where you learn best. And to see that, it just feels like Les Snead is kind of like a father figure for Gladstone right now, and hopefully everything he's taught him can come to fruition here. And again, to see him kind of get emotional when saying thank you, not to just Les, but his wife as well. So it feels like they were together as a family, and that just really shows to go the impact that someone can have in your life at a moment when you don't expect it.
Yep. And, you know, he's coming to Jacksonville at a time where this organization really needs a shot of innovation, a shot of energy. This team is coming off a 4-win season. You know, when Doug Peterson, I hate to go back, but you got to go back to get to where we are now. When he first came here 3 years ago, we all thought with his Super Bowl pedigree that he could lead this team to new heights. Had a success that first year. We went to the playoffs, made it to the divisional round. We won the South Division. The second year, we missed the playoffs by a win. We beat the Tennessee Titans there in the regular season finale we were in. And then the debacle that we saw in 2024. Now, the great thing is, unlike for Doug Peterson, Liam Cohen is going to be working with a guy that he's very familiar with, a guy that he's built a relationship with. And I think that's critically important whenever you're trying to do anything, whether it's working on a team, whether it's building a team, whether it's cutting the grass, you have to be on the same page. And he talked about today just how excited he is to work with a man that he first worked with in 2018 with the Los Angeles Rams.
And to Liam Cohen. Liam, I can't wait to bring your vision for this football team to life, working with our coaching staff, our scouting staff, and our support staff to give the city of Jacksonville, its fans, and our partners around the world a team that they're proud to support. Yeah, I can't say that when I think back to our time at the Rams, there was ever this idea that, hey, we're going to end up being GM and head coach side by side. But by default, because of where our roots both fall, we're aligned just in and of itself. And I think through this whole process, some of the things that really were the most alluring and exciting about this opportunity is that the leadership structure, well, it mirrors what I'm familiar with in Los Angeles. And I know that that's one that I, A, can have success in, and is, B, something that can be successful in this line of work.
There was a collaboration within the coaching staff and the scouting department when it came to the undrafted free agency process after the draft. That was something that James was spearheading at the time. This is going back to 2018 when I first arrived there. He was spearheading that entire process. And I saw this guy completely dominate that position. And the ability to communicate with both scouting and the coaching coaches was just at such a different level than I was used to seeing somebody be able to do. That was when you really started to see his process, his ability. It was really pretty cool to watch his process growing up and then see him continuing to evolve. It's been awesome to see.
So I've been here now. This is the fourth general manager since I came to Jacksonville in 2009. When I arrived, it was Gene Smith, and they fired him and hired Dave Caldwell. They fired him. They hired Trent Baalke, and now they've hired James Gladstone. I don't remember a time where I have been this excited about a tandem, meaning head coach and general manager, as I am with Liam Cohen and James Gladstone. I know you can never underestimate the how important it is and how big it is when you talk about the word familiarity. They know each other. They work together. They're both young. But even with that said, and we know the word of the day over at the Mill Electric Center was collaboration. I get the sense, though, from hearing from the Executive Vice President of Football Operations, Tony Baselli, even when hearing Gladstone today, it sounds like to me, while they'll all be collaborating, Shaaz, they're all focused on the goal that Cohen has.
Exactly, right? Tony said, and James said as well, that they're here to help Liam Cohen. It's his team at the end of the day, his vision as well. Yes, it's going to be a collaboration. They're all going to have to be in alignment together. It's like a school project, right? Everyone has to hold their load, but someone is going to be that face, and this is Liam Cohen's team. So it's going to start from him, what he wants, the pieces he wants, and where he thinks this team can go. So it's all about helping Cohen, getting them to where they are. And one thing that James said, which was fantastic, was we hope we have disagreements, right? They're going to come about.
Yep.
That's where you grow. That's where you figure out, all right, let's align ourselves to what we really want and what we see is best for the team. So yeah, there's going to be times they're going to be all in on one player and not all in on a certain player, but those are the moments that they're going to grow the most. And again, it's Liam Cohen's team. So what does he want? What are they going to get in there to help him at the end of the day win on the field?
And we'll get to that, the roster stuff, in just a second. I want to talk about innovation. And Shad Khan said something about Gladstone today. Today's NFL is consistently changing. It is important for us to find a GM who was unafraid of change, someone who could innovate, collaborate, and evolve. All of that describes James. Here is James talking about how he plans to use innovation from day one.
I think, A, the adaptability that shows amongst the leadership group in Los Angeles, and one that we'll look to embody here, knowing that this is an ever-evolving landscape in the NFL and the importance of changing and being ahead of the curve in terms of what success looks like. I think beyond that, I see a lot of parallels to really my time with the Los Angeles Rams and the current moment in time here with the Jacksonville Jaguars, in particular dating back to sort of the inflection point in 2017 when the Los Angeles Rams were coming off a 4-win season, hired a dynamic and resilient head coach, and were able to follow that up with a successful season and successful season since. So really going to tap into all of those years of experience and the different sort of modes of operation and models that we deployed while applying here.
If you are a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, let me say this, you should be fired up based on what you heard him say about what went down in Los Angeles back in 2017. It was a 4-win team. They were coming off a 4-win season. They hired this dynamic coach at that time, Sean McVay, who is still the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams, a guy that has played in 2 Super Bowls or coached in 2 Super Bowls out there, won one with that team. Shaaz, the Jaguars in that same place, and we are hoping that Cohen is the McVay on the East Coast.
Exactly, right? Just looking here at their record, after that 4-win season, they go 11-5, make the playoffs.
Yep.
Season right after that, you lose in the Super Bowl. So even to get there, right off the bat, from a 4-12 season, 11-5, that is exactly what you want here. And it goes to show that mindset that James Gladstone saw where they went from and how they got there. We're going to talk a little about draft capital, but the way the Rams did it was interesting as well. You talk about innovation. It's not always about going and getting the highest draft pick possible. They traded away a lot of those first rounders to get quality players in there that would make the impact right away. That was was so important. And to see Gladstone go through that process, to see what Les Snead has done there with not just great draft picks, is what we're going to have here. And we have great draft picks here. The second most, or actually the most draft capital over the last 2 seasons. So that's going to be great to see, is that Gladstone has seen the way they've built. They have that young coach, the one that's offensive minded. And it's going to be hopefully that similar way. And I asked Tony Baselli, I was like, we're hearing from fans that it's the Jacksonville Rams. He's like, no. We are the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are going to create our own identity, and we're going to build that culture and a way to win. So that was great to hear from Tony, and it's all about what's going to happen on the field.
You know, it's interesting that the Jacksonville Jaguars played a pivotal role in the Los Angeles Rams, getting some star players to win that Super Bowl. Jalen Ramsey was a Jacksonville Jaguar, a star player who, if I'm not mistaken, was either in the 4th year of his rookie deal, and he wanted more money, brought the Brinks truck over to Everbank Stadium, backed it up. The Jaguars at that time had an executive vice president by the name of Tom Coughlin, the first head coach in the franchise's history. Their relationship soured very quickly. And remember now, this was a team back in 2018 that was a Miles Jack not down away from playing in the Super Bowl that year. But in return, we got a lot of players. That's how we were able to eventually get Trevor Lawrence. Not all of the picks panned out, but that's the key. You got to hit on the picks. Right. And he talked about, meaning Gladstone, about the draft. And one of the big things that you hope is that you indeed hit on the picks.
Yeah, the short of it is there's talent in a lot of key spots. And with the amount of draft capital that we have at our disposal over the next 2 seasons, it's really exciting about what we can do there, especially knowing that that's the highest volume of draft capital that exists for any team in the NFL over the next 2 years. And we're coming off 2 cycles with the Los Angeles Rams where that was the exact same case. 24 picks over the last 2 drafts. So really this is a dynamic that I'm uniquely positioned to navigate and really looking forward to utilizing as a means of continuing to develop this roster.
So the Jacksonville Jaguars have 10 picks in the 2025 NFL Draft. Gladstone has no time to waste. You got the NFL Combine, the workouts kicking off on Thursday of this week, but Gladstone and the Jaguars top brass, they will arrive in Indy tomorrow. I don't know who talks at 11, who talks at 11:30, but I know the coach, Cohen, and him will be speaking at the draft tomorrow. And if you are a Jaguars fan, it's never been about necessarily picks, Shaaz. It's been about, we're hoping that Cohen and the Jaguars can develop these young picks.
Exactly, right? That's where it begins. And there's these certain intangibles that Gladstone talked about. The physicality, the way they hold themselves, not just on the field, but off of the field as well. And we've heard from Cohen the fast, right? They're physical, mentally strong. And those are some of the intangibles they're going to want to get and develop those guys. A lot of these teams, look at the Philadelphia Eagles for a second. They are young. Yep. A lot of that development has happened early, and they're on and winning a Super Bowl. You want that. You don't want to have to go out and spend millions and millions of dollars to get these great players, because you're going to have to develop at a certain time. The Rams got Brandon Fisk and Jared Verse, 2 guys from FSU. They panned out fantastic. So you're going to have to go and get these young guys that are going to be able to come in and make that impact. The Jags have the players. They have great players already in great places. We've heard Gladstone say that. We've heard Coach Cohen say that. We know that. But who are going to be the supporting cast that is going to be able to come in, make those impacts off the jump, and develop over that rookie contract? Who's going to earn that second contract and be here in Jacksonville for a while and make those big impacts?
No doubt about it. And we all know the Jacksonville Jaguars, while they have some young pieces, they really got to get Trevor Lawrence going. Every team that consistently plays and contends, whether it's for the division or consistently makes the playoff, it starts with the quarterback. And then if we can get Josh Hines-Allen to he didn't have a bad year in 2024, considering he had a franchise record 17.5 sacks in 2023. But we need him to be that guy that gets after quarterbacks, that gets after the running backs, that's disrupting offenses. We need Trayvon Walker to continue to evolve. He's getting better and better every year, because I feel like once that defensive line, if they can consistently get pressure on the quarterback, then that's going to help out your young secondary, because I don't care how good your defensive backs, your safeties are. If you cannot consistently get the quarterback off of his mark, you don't have a shot to do it. And Tyson Campbell, if he can stay healthy, he's one of those guys that they'll be leaning on. And, everybody's ecstatic about Brian Thomas Jr. Being the second year, had an outstanding rookie season. And so you add some pieces around that. Plus, we do well in free agency. We'll be all right, because here's a good thing. We already had about $40+ million in salary cap room before the NFL added or expanded the salary cap. So the Jags will have even more money to work with. And Gladstone talked about not just the draft, but free agency as well.
Our group has already been off to the races. So I'm onboarding in real time. We're meeting with the coaching staff and scouting staff here this week at the Combine, and we'll have a lot of deep discussions around how we'll approach pro free agency throughout this week. And that's not honestly atypical. That's what a lot of people do, and so we're not behind in any way, shape, or form.
So no need to panic, Jaguar fans. Your general manager, your head coach, your scout man, your executive vice president, they're all on the same page, eager and go to work. Now, with all of that said, we cannot not have some key players on the football side of this organization who are playing major roles for the first time. Tony Baselli is never in the front office. He's the executive vice president of football operations. Liam Cohen has never been a head coach. He's 39 years old. Then you've got Gladstone. He's 34 years old. And some fans, rightfully so, should be concerned, or they're saying they're concerned about their inexperience, all of the youth. But Shaaz, you like the youth.
I love it, right? So there's this change in college athletics. NIL, everything is moving so fast that to have these younger guys, you want them to be able to relate to these younger players coming in. That's the biggest thing. It's no more the my way or the highway, the Bill Belichick's. It's a changing game. You want to be able to collaborate with these young coaches that there are players in the league that are 34, right? James Gladstone's 34. So you want to be able to relate to your players, and that's when they feel best, is when they feel that connection. Something that Gladstone said was he's humility. He wants to bring himself to that level of everybody that's around him. And that's the important thing. You want the youth. You want innovation. The game is moving fast. There's no time to wait around and hope the old ways work anymore. And to see that the youth movement is legit here in Duval and they're all in, that is remarkable. I saw earlier today that people were like, is it too much youth, right? Is it too much inexperience at every position? If you don't try, you'll never know.
I agree with that. And I just feel like, I'm sick of seeing the same old coaches recycled over and over and over again in the NFL. But our opinions really don't matter. Let's hear what Shad Khan and Tony Baselli were saying about having two inexperienced guys in two critical roles in the organization.
I look at it really positively. I think we have great people and a great team of people, even though they might be in the position for the first time. I think collectively they're going to have great success. And, and I think one of the things, I think we're all aware that, they're new, but huge amount of, the potential to really grow into it. So, you're referring to the Peter Principle, right? So that is, we've talked about it. You want to be aware of it. I asked everyone, not only here, but our coaching staff that are in that position for the first time, just to be aware of that concept. But, look it up on the phone. But but I couldn't be more excited, frankly. I think the brain power, the bandwidth, the different experience, and really complementary. This is a team of football people, executives who are going to have success. No one is a perfect human being. And this isn't about, hey, I got X years of experience in something. A lot of times it turns out to be 1 year of experience X times over. This is, I just think the brain matter here is going to be great for the Jaguars.
Well, I'm extremely excited. I like the new title you gave me, Chief Supporter or Buffer. I'm gonna put that on my business card. But listen, I'm excited. It started with Liam becoming our head coach. It was clear, and as we sat with him and his vision for what, how we wanted to play football, what the identity and the standard was going to be at the Jacksonville Jaguars was exactly how I think about it. And you guys know through all the conversations I've had with you about you got to be tough, physically, mentally, smart football team that's disciplined. And that's exactly how Liam looks at it. And then as we went through the GM process together, first and foremost, it's two things you're looking for. One, is it the right individual, the right makeup of the guy that will fit into what we're trying to build, the culture we're trying to set in this building. And James knocked that out of the park. But that's not enough. Then you have to look at the ability and the acuity to, evaluate talent, have a process, the draft, free agency. And again, that's a place where James excelled. And we will see it day after day and year after year. So the combination of Liam and James and what we're going to build here, and the three of us together, we're aligned. And it's going to be a collaboration. One of the things that we talk about, Liam and I have been talking about it since day one, and since James got here, is it's not about any one individual, no egos, agendas. It's about what happens on the grass. We're going to keep the main thing, and that's winning football games. And that's what we're here to do. At the end of the day, we're all going to be judged by wins and losses, and that's what we're going to focus on.
And that is a perfect place to wrap up Porter's Place. At the beginning and the end of the day, we can care less about age. We can care less about experience. We can care less about who makes the actual call during the NFL draft and that first, second, third round pick. At the end of the day, the Jacksonville Jaguars and their fan base want a consistent winner. And I thought Pro Football Hall of Famer Tony Boselli, he said it best. It's about what you do on the grass. And hopefully, come this fall, we'll be talking about this team being very competitive in the thick of things in the AFC South Division, and hopefully, without question, competing in the playoffs. Shaaz, again, thank you so much, my friend, for battling today. He only coughed off camera. The whole time we're on, we didn't give a call.
Together.
Yes. Get well, my friend, and we'll see you later in the week. Yep. Give it up for Shaaz Perani. So again, the Jacksonville Jaguars formally introduced their new general manager, James Gladstone, 34 years young, the youngest in the NFL. He's busy. Tomorrow they're making the flight to Indianapolis. He'll be checking out the top prospects in college football. See you next time, folks.